I am David Holt, the Mayor of Oklahoma City. Welcome back to my office here at City Hall for City Hall Sessions, where we highlight some of our amazing local performing artists. Today we have Chase Kerby. Chase, by day, helps with runs the Art Moves program for the Oklahoma City Arts Council. He also runs all the performing artists at the Festival of the Arts. But he is himself a very talented and accomplished performing artist, and we are so excited to welcome him here to City Hall Sessions. He's actually been here before as an audience member and as a crew member for City Hall Sessions. Tonight, he is the star. Please welcome Chase Kerby.
I'm trying to shake this feeling off, 'cause I've been sweating for days and my breath lights up like a Molotov. 'Cause heaven failed me, but hell's not where I belong. Just somewhere in between the times I'm weak and I'm feeling strong. But nothing I do would ever change your mind. If I wanted you back, I'd have to stand in line. 'Cause there are laws to love, and they're all messed up. There's a lesson we need to learn. Oh, if I had my chance, I'd do it all again. Yeah, just to watch and learn. See, I'm not unworthy, 'cause there's value in failing free. So I made my peace with a part of the book you wrote for me. But all that ending was a classic twist of fate, where the hero always falls every time they hesitate. But you put me in the corner with an open mind. Yeah, if I speak up, it's to the back of the line. 'Cause there are laws to love, and they're all messed up. There's a lesson we need to learn. Oh, if I had my chance, I'd do it all again. Yeah, just to watch it burn. Oh yeah, to watch it burn. There are laws to love, and they're all messed up. There's a lesson we need to learn. But oh, if I had my chance, I'd do it all again. Yeah, just to watch it burn. Just to watch it burn. Thank you. Just a funny love song I wrote a few years ago. This is a song that came about as a song challenge from one of my closest friends, Bo Jennings, and he told me to write a song that didn't have any metaphors in it. And I said, I'll get back to you in a couple hours. And so I wrote this. It's called The Pass, and it is about my first time my dad took me camping to Colorado, which is where we used to go every summer. And so there are very literal lines in here because that was the challenge. So so this is called The Pass. I've been watching the mile markers growing in numbers, seeing the clouds and the weather we're under. Half a day left in the drive, and the mountains are barely in sight. The hill's getting bigger, and I don't mind the extra time. It's me and my dad in a 90s Corolla, driving to places outside Oklahoma. 500 bucks in the bank, and a quarter left in the tank. Or the closer to the summit, or the closer to the rain. Eric Clapton plays, slow and sad and tame, on some cassette that my dad's friend homemade. And he points to the map and he asks me, what's it say? We drove through the handle where it all smells like bull. You can't go around, so you gotta go through it. All these audio books to review, and he made sure that I'd like them too. Back then Jurassic Park was still considered brand new. Michael Crichton talks, scaring me in parts, but I'm looking for signs of fallen rocks. All the exits here, and we're finally pulling off, pulling off. Pulling off. We set up the tent under headlight and campfire. We talked about plans to go visit an old mine. His snoring keeps me up from sleep, but the cold feels nice on my cheek. And I'm ripe with excitement with what tomorrow brings. Thank you. So this one, we'll get into a little more Oklahoma history with this one. So a lot of my family is from western Oklahoma, Clinton, Oklahoma, Weatherford, in that area. And my grandfather used to own a restaurant there called the Branding Iron, or everyone just called it Paul's Branding Iron. And while my mom was going to college at SWOSU, she was working at this restaurant that was kind of attached to a hotel right there. Actually, if you take I-40 and you go past Clinton, you drive right by it. It's right there by the highway. And so when I was born, we lived in like 4 to 6 different places before I was 6 months old because my parents, when they were still married, had an oil supply company. And when the glut happened, and then the bust happened, and then Penn Square Bank happened, we lost everything. And so I don't know if that makes me technically homeless when I was first born. I think maybe, I don't know. But I was like, I want to write some songs. I want to write some songs that really are like kind of into this personal history, but also incorporate a lot of just the truth about Oklahoma and very literal things that we've gone through in the state. So this is called Paul's Branding Iron, and it is kind of an ode to that era, I guess. And if you're familiar with any high school football mascots, then you'll get the first verse. The red tornadoes are favored on a Friday night. They'll light this town up like a spark on the 4th of July. And the Millers run with their tail tucked between their legs as the Yukon Giants season comes to an end. All the early bird covers shifts at the Highway Hotel. All the suitcase student paying for college herself. These roughnecks check in, they sure make a lot of noise. They drink and they yell and they call themselves good old boys. The other guests, they don't ever seem to complain, 'cause their money's good and it all spins the same. All the early bird keeps watch over folks coming in. She could tell when breakfast at the branding iron begins. If they don't know that a bust is on the way, it's followed by the downfall of Penn Square. Yeah, the money they've got, they won't get to know so well. So pick up your shifts. Pick up your shifts at the Highway Hotel. The red tornadoes are keeping this place alive. They're giving the townies some hope on a Friday night. Yeah. Thank you. There's another song I wrote from that era, or about that era, and it was about how my parents got married in a funeral home, but I thought that was just a little too weird, so I wasn't going to play it. Let's see. Got one or two left for you guys. This is, so my late father was kind of this Renaissance man. He was in Canterbury for 30-something years. He was a choir director, worked a bunch of odd jobs, anything from taxi driver, car salesman, janitor, all this stuff. But he was an artist and started with wood carving, went to sandstone, alabaster, and then eventually he started sculpting marble. And so once a year, he would go to Fort Collins and come back with these like 500-pound, 600-pound things of marble. And we had a duplex over by the old John Marshall High School with this like one-car garage, and he had built a pulley system and all of these things that he could hoist this stuff up himself, and he would put it on this kind of swivel that he also built, and he would just, I remember as a kid seeing these kind of giant boulders in the garage, and eventually I'd see like pen marks on them, and I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? Did you get this rock to stare at it? Like, what are you doing? And it was because what he would do is he would turn this rock until he found the color and shapes kind of starting to come to him, because each rock had individual like striping inside of it and that sort of thing. So I wrote this song about my dad. And about his like stone sculpting stuff, and it's called Hammer of the Gods. Joe's on his way to Colorado, picking out the stone he's gonna carve. He decided he would take the route through Kansas, even though he knows it makes it feel too far. There was something about watching all the flat land slowly start to fold into itself. And when the angle of the car is tipping backwards, there's a feeling that you've never known such wealth. Came back with half of the mountain. He loaded in a single car garage. At night he'd go and turn the boulders over. He'd swear that he was seeing a mirage. Yeah, when he could finally find the figure coming, he'd start swinging like a hammer of the gods. And he'd chip away that rock from the mountain. Then he'd sell it for way below the cost. Oh, oh, setting up a table for the passing of the people who won't ever stop and look at the blood and sweat he laid out right before them, like a chapter that was ripped out from his book. Oh, he packed it up to head back to the Rockies and cut another piece out of God's hand. Shape it into something he holds on to. 'Cause it's lonely as a stone-cutting man. Yeah. Stone-cutting man. Thank you. I'm gonna do one more for you guys. I was telling Greg this story. I used to work at a vintage shop at Penn Square. It was a vintage T-shirt store called Galaxy Vintage. It was at Penn Square Mall. I was 21, and it was the summertime, and I had my guitar in the car, and I didn't want to leave it out there. One, because it's the mall, and I'm not trying to get anything stolen, and two, it was hot, and string instruments and hot weather don't exactly bode well together. So on my break, and I guess a lot of people don't know this, there's a stairwell exit from the movie theater at Penn Square Mall that like no one ever uses. And so I went out there on my break and sat down, and I'm a really big fan of an artist named Nick Drake, and I was like really heavy in a Nick Drake phase back then. So I wrote this song when I was 21, working at a vintage shop, and I wrote it on the stairwell at Penn Square Mall, which is actually a pretty good environment for songwriting, to be honest with you. So this is called Open Highways. Free your spirit on this open highway, much like doors you're walking out. This the one-way ticket out to nowhere, filled with what you dreamed about. Oh, So take your life and all your ways of living, throw the whole mess to the ground. This the one chance game you've been given, you can hardly make a sound. So free your spirit on this open highway, much like those you're walking out.